Only 2 remain. March mode is kicked in for the Cardinals, going for their 2nd ACC tournament title.
That was nasty.
The Hokies sending a message that they're destined to hoist their first ACC trophy.
All wins, no losses. She is the one now. You go ahead and shoot till your arm falls off.
Ruthless competition and historic ACC pride, all for the crown.
Welcome to the Ally ACC Women's Tournament Championship game. And welcome to the ACC on ESPN as we tip off our big day, Championship Sunday, around women's basketball as we start to send out NCAA tournament bids. And we begin with Louisville and Virginia Tech, a tournament dominated so far by defense, but we expect that to change today.
Oh, yeah.
With 10 1,000-point scorers on these 2 rosters. Beth Mowins, Debbie Antonelli, Angel Gray, and it starts right at the top with the 2 All-America candidates.
Did you say 10 1,000-point scorers? That's what I thought you said. I mean, that's a lot of offense, right? That's what this league has been built on. And today, we're going to feature a couple of players early on that can really flat-out ball. And for Virginia Tech, it's the back-to-back ACC Player of the Year in Elizabeth Kitley at 6'6". She has multi-skill around the rim. She can move to the short corner and score as well. She's an offensive rebounder. She can score on a drop back, put back, a counter, and a face-up. And she blocks shots and defends her position well. She's one of the big stars in the game today. The other, HVL, Haley Van Lith from Louisville. One of the top scorers in the nation, has led Louisville all season offensively. She's a lefty. She can go right. She can go left. She can get a bucket, and she's having fun playing loose with her teammates, looking for another title.
They are looking for number 2 in the last 6 years, and what a moment for Virginia Tech. Hokie Nation has turned out big today as they look for their first ever ACC tournament title. Follow what the men did last year. The series looks like such. They played earlier this year, and we can only hope that this one is as good. It was a barn burner back and forth, and a win for Virginia Tech. A lot on the line for the NCAA tournament. We will document it throughout the course of the day. Louisville in line for a 4 seed, possibly with a win, a chance to stay at home where they have a big advantage. And for Virginia Tech, folks, the numbers don't lie, and we'll show them to you later. They would definitely be in the conversation to get on the top line with a win here this afternoon.
It has all the vibe of a Championship Sunday in Greensboro. The place is packed. The Hokie Nation has shown up and driven about 2.5 hours south. And these teams are ready. They are better prepared because they have played their way here. The top 2 seeds are gone. Virginia Tech, the 3 seed, and the 4 seed, Louisville, playing their best basketball.
Let's send it over to Angel Gray.
Well, welcome to the Greensboro Coliseum, rather Jurassic Park. That's what Kenny Brooks has called his team all season. Why? Because he said we hunt in packs a lot like velociraptors. All throughout this tournament, defense has been the name of the game for them. They have allowed the fewest points in tournament history through the first 2 games. And Coach said, I wasn't a defensive coach, but I understand that this group, this veteran group, knows what it takes to win a title. And today is the day they may get it.
In their Chicago maroon and burnt orange for Virginia Tech, Louisville in white. And underway, the first of our 4 Power 5 championship games this afternoon.
If Virginia Tech is going to win, they're going to have to establish Kitley early, and Amor is going to have to keep the hot shooting going. And if Louisville's going to win, their ball pressure has to be a factor in taking those options away from the Hokies.
Jeff Walz 10 games ago shook up the starting lineup. They are 8-2 since. Olivia Cochran and Mikasa Robinson were huge yesterday in the semis, and there's Olivia Cochran with the first bucket. For Tech, Amor, 20-point performance again yesterday. King's their 3-shooter, Trailers the glue, sole rebounds, and Kitley does it all. Amor short on her first shot.
Louisville's defense will be man-to-man. They'll switch guard to guard. Mikasa Robinson has the responsibility early. It looks like Cochran's trying to take it right at Kitley on the offensive end. 2 possessions, 2 opportunities for for Cochran on the top of the floor.
Robinson, one of the best defenders in the country on the perimeter, will start out on Amor. Kitley, 2 for 2 to open the show.
She is money in that short corner. That is one of her spots. Kenny Brooks doesn't overcoach it. He will run the same set if they continue to score.
Van Lith probing. Cochran, some steps. We were talking with Jeff Walls. He and Kenny Brooks, they're calling it the Gentleman's Classic today, Debbie. The 2 fellas at the helm this afternoon. Now in his 16th season, it's been 4 straight years of at least the Elite 8 for the Cardinals, twice to the Final Four, including a year ago.
They have big game experience. They've been here before. They've played when there's a title on the line. This is new for Virginia Tech.
Kitley, 3 for 3 to begin the day.
It'll take maybe another bucket before Jeff Walls looks to adjust, as long as his team can score with Virginia Tech early. He's going to get Liz Dixon off the bench, but they'd like to play her straight up if they can.
Hokies were trying to push Van Lith to the right side of the floor, and she hangs and hits with that left hand anyway.
If you put in as much time as Haley Van Lith has put in, going right as a left-handed player, you can force her right and she'll make it.
Kitley way out top with Cochran defending her. They'll sag off of Taylor Soule. She was in foul trouble yesterday. There is not a lot of depth for Virginia Tech. She's got to keep it clean today. Amor sidesteps for the 3. And here comes the push for Chrislyn Carr. She'll pull and pop. Mikasa Robinson. Boy, she is aggressive on the glass. She's hunting her shots more now.
Mikasa Robinson comes into this tournament in 2 games, 7 points, 8 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and 2.5 steals
per game. Van Lith got it.
Going to her right. Remember, she had 26 in the first one against Wake Forest.
The 2 stars have announced their presence. Combined 5 for 5. Haley, by the way, her season high was 29 earlier this year against the Hokies. Got a held ball. It will go the other way. Kenny Brooks in his 7th season. It's been building slowly over the last couple of years, and now the breakthrough. 26 wins. They are hunting a school record. They're 2 wins shy of that, and they are looking for their first tournament championship since they were in the Atlantic 10 back in 1999 under Bonnie Henriksen.
They've won 10 in a row. They're one of the hottest teams outside of South Carolina in the NCAA tournament.
Chrislyn Carr, that's her specialty, number 3 with the 3.
This Louisville team has gotten better through the course of the season. Remember, preseason top 10. Fell completely out of the rankings, have worked their way back. I've had them in my poll the last 3 weeks. I think they're that good. I think they have a chance here to win and be a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament.
The counter from Kayana Traylor. They call her KT, the senior from Martinsville, Indiana. That ends an 8-0 run for the Ville.
Yeah, that's a 3-point shooting around Elizabeth Kitley, and it's why you got to play her straight up, because they can make you pay with a 3.
Van Lith off the mark. One of the big questions for Virginia Tech, and they may already be answering it, Debbie, is they have experience. They're all upperclassmen. The big game experience, this is new to them, and will serve them well heading into the NCAA tournament with high expectations as well, dealing with this environment.
No question about it. I mean, their attendance at home has gotten better, but to play with every possession means something. That's when you're going for a title, that's where you are. And I think Kenny Brooks has actually had his team in a postseason mindset since the middle of February.
They are.
Ladies, you mentioned it, 8 seniors on this Virginia Tech team. Kenny Brooks told me, I trust them. There's like having 5 different coaches on the floor. They don't need to look to me. They understand the assignment.
They have adjusted well. They are playing their best ball late in the season. They trail by 1 early.
Transition will be very, very important. We can get some stuff on them, but we got to make sure we don't give them anything easy. Okay, it's going to be a game of flows. 2 best teams. Okay, 2 best teams. All right, they might make a run. Keep your composure. Keep your composure. Stay together. Have fun. The only thing you can do today is control what you can control. We got to be the best version of ourselves. Let's go 1-0.
Well, the words of Kenny Brooks pregame, they are giving the selection committee, Debbie, a lot to think about. The numbers on their resume keep getting better. Look at that. Only Connecticut has more net top 25 wins than Virginia Tech. They've won 10 in a row. They're looking for another net 25 win here and an ACC championship for the first time.
You do those things, and it is going to be hard to keep them out of the conversation for one, depending on what happens with Iowa and Ohio State later today.
You've already had Utah and Stanford losing early in the Pac-12 tournament. Iowa is playing in the Big Ten championship this afternoon against Ohio State. Coming up next, it's the SEC final. Undefeated South Carolina and Tennessee. Elizabeth Kitley, the fade, and that one doesn't drop over the front of the rim. Jeff Walls was telling us there's a big difference for Kitley if she's shooting from 8 feet away and 15 feet away.
Right.
You want to push her out.
You want to try to be physical with her if you can. Liz Dixon, though, at 6'5", can provide a similar size and some length on her. When they start her away from the bucket, they love to slice cut her back to the other side. Okay, here she comes back to the top, and she's good in their high-low game as well.
King, their three-point shooter, around and out.
Only 1 triple for Virginia Tech so far, and that belongs to Traylor.
Van Lith, the back door, misses the wrap. Loose ball down on the deck. And a held ball will go to Virginia Tech. Well, Champ Week rolls on today. 3 more championship games for you. The SEC final at 3 Eastern, the Big Ten at 5, and also at 5 o'clock over on ESPN2, the Pac-12 title game with UCLA and Washington State in the finals in Vegas.
3 Power 5s and only 1 #1 seed survives. So that is a little foreshadowing for how much fun the NCAA tournament's going to be this year. Oh, good kick.
Amor finds Traylor, and she gets the bounce.
Really nice pass right to the shooting pocket on a dime.
She's got both triples for Virginia Tech. They're back on top. The first matchup between these two, 13 lead changes and 10 ties. As Carr goes off the bounce.
Carr just taking what the defense gives you right there, attacking the top foot, getting a straight line drive to the bucket.
Amor, 2-man game with Kitley. Help defense comes, she's patient and one.
This is where her ability to counter has gotten so much better. Catching traffic, stay poised, and then step through. Didn't travel, through contact. ACC Player of the Year.
72% at the line this season, misses that one. She is from the Greensboro area. As Van Lith drives and scores. 7 now for Van Lith. They'll throw on some full court pressure.
Nice little elbow screen by Liz Dixon. Opens up Van Lith. Same driving space that Carr just had.
Terrific matchup here. The 5s battling it out, Amor and Robinson. Amor gets lost in traffic.
Watch Liz Dixon right here, sets the screen. Haley Van Lith drives right past it. It's very well executed. First she takes Traylor into the screen. Traylor goes under. The reason why you go under is to keep him from driving.
Oh, King wide open on the inbound. She was Kitley's high school teammate at Northwest Guildford, where the Vikings won a pair of state titles here in North Carolina. Morgan Jones is checked into the ballgame for Louisville. Offensive foul. It's going to be on Carr.
Watch Kayla King right here, slip right here to the bucket, uncontested. Good action by Virginia Tech on the baseline out of bounds, and I say this a lot, but particularly when you get to NCAA tournament and postseason play, situational offense is really important. If you can score 80% of the times on your baseline out of bounds or your sideline out of bounds, after free throws, after timeouts, any dead ball situation, it's important because the game shrinks. You know, there's less possessions. The court shrinks. You got to really execute.
Louisville gets the takeaway. Final minute and a half of the first quarter. ACC final. Kitley gets a swat, and they'll get the ball.
Kitley, one of the top defenders in the ACC, the top shot blocker. Stays off the contact.
Cochran tries to get up in the passing lane, and she's going to be whistled for the foul. That's her first. Fourth on the team.
If you're going to jump that passing lane, you better make sure you can get it. That looked like ball to me, but the way Kitley pulled it away drew the foul.
Oh, check that. It's only the third team foul.
This is the big lineup on the floor right now for Virginia Tech with Greg at the 3.
She's their sixth man off the bench. Number 11, here she is. Amor finds the seam, got it.
Yeah, Kitley was looking for the duck in, and Amor dribbled right into it. Kitley had Mikasa Robinson on her. It's a huge size advantage for Virginia Tech.
Georgia's first bucket of the day. Marissa Russell now in the game, setting the screen. Robinson working around Cochran. Spins, short. Virginia Tech can hold for one.
We're going to go high ball screen here for Amor. She's got a beautiful step back. Three-point shot.
Good hedge. Amor keeps the dribble alive and banks it in.
She did that yesterday.
Seeking their first tournament championship. They've got the lead after one.
Virginia Tech working that high ball screen. Screen, re-screen, twist action, three-pointer, she called.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally. Greensboro Coliseum, home to so many memories in ACC basketball history, making another one today. Who will be celebrating in about an hour and a half or so? Will it be Louisville or Virginia Tech?
How about North Carolina men coming here and having to win the tournament to get into the NCAA? How about a little shout out to Mike Bray, one of our favorites at Notre Dame, will be stepping aside. This will be his last tournament in the ACC, and we wish him well.
Virginia Tech ended that first quarter on a 7-0 run to take the lead. Elizabeth Kitley, 8 points in the first quarter. Haley Van Lith with 7, the leading scorers for their sides. Virginia
Zone.
Tech, about to say, looking at the zone. Taylor Soule on the drive. gives it up for Greg, and a whistle and a foul. And that may be two. That'll be on Russell. Her first. Louisville dodged one there. That could have been on Van Lith.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what? Greg saved Taylor Soule from turning it over because she flashed in front very quickly to make herself available on the penetration.
76% at the line for Greg. The New York Life ACC Men's Tournament begins Tuesday afternoon right here with 3 first-round games starting at 2 Eastern on ACC Network and your ESPN app.
Congratulations to Virginia and Miami on the men's side, tying for the ACC regular season championship. And a shout out to Terry Holland's family, the great coach at the University of Virginia who passed last week. And Jim Larinaga was on his staff. A lot of history around the ACC on the men's side as well here in Greensboro. And we wish rest in peace, Coach Holland. Big feature, focal point of ACC basketball.
Robinson able to clean up the Van Lith miss. That ends the 9-0 run for the Hokies.
Louisville doing a good job matching up right now in their zone.
No Kitley on the floor. Amor gets around the corner, hangs and hits.
She is so athletic. She is so quick off the bounce.
She's got 7. Oh, Cochran had Greg backed up at a bad pass.
Yeah, that's CC Carr's fault for not passing it in there earlier.
Van Lith off the fake. And the rebound to King.
Boy, it's tough on the glass, isn't it?
And Greg is hurt. Landed hard fighting for that loose ball. As Kitley will check back into the lineup for Virginia Tech. $20 wins a year ago for Virginia Tech. They finished 23-10, and they were a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, stunned in the opener by Florida Gulf Coast. And this year, with a greater sense of urgency, with all upperclassmen on the floor, on a mission for an ACC championship for the first time, and perhaps a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. It would definitely put them in the discussion. And now an offensive foul called on Soule on the screen. We're seeing a lot of that around the perimeter on these screens.
Elizabeth Kitley had 42 in that NCAA first round loss, but her supporting cast is much better this year. So if you're going to let Kitley play straight up and score 42, you're going to have a hard time beating the Hokies.
Van Lith lost the handle, and did Soule just pick up another quick one? She was in foul trouble yesterday. Didn't even make it through 15 minutes of floor time, and that is #2 on her.
And as athletic as Taylor Soule is, and she can do certain things on the floor like offensive rebound and slash to the bucket, Deja Gregg gives them a totally different look. She's a better shooter. She shoots the 3. She spaces the floor in a different way. It's a nice combination.
Cochran on the glass. 12 points and 8 rebounds for Olivia yesterday. One of her best games of the season in their semifinal win over Notre Dame. Both teams won big yesterday. They should have plenty of gas left in the tank playing their 3rd game in 3 days.
Robinson anticipating and going for that steal. And Louisville's got to be careful because Virginia Tech will start ball faking and going back door. Here comes that play. They run a double screen on the top for Amor.
Greg lobs it over the top. And a foul on the Kitley shot on Harris, who thought she had the block from behind. That's her first.
Kenny Brooks does such a great job of isolating Elizabeth Kitley and getting the switches by running big and little screens, right? Louisville likes to switch guard to guard, but sometimes they got to switch and put that little on Kitley. That is tough to defend.
There should be plenty of inspiration on the Louisville side as their revenge tour continues today, Debbie, for Jeff Walz. He loves utilizing that underdog card. They lost to Wake during the regular season, beat them in the quarters. Lost to Notre Dame in the regular season, beat them in the semis. Lost to Virginia Tech in the regular season, and now seeing them again in the final. Kitley with 10, and they have matched their biggest lead of the day.
Really good D by Traylor on that, not allowing Mikasa Robinson on that drive, forcing a tougher shot. Virginia Tech's good on the defensive end. I don't think they get enough credit there.
Van Lith started out 2 for 2. She's 1 of 6 since.
Cochran had success in that top of the floor earlier. He hasn't been able to get anything going since.
Louisville's shooting has cooled here in the second quarter, and that's opened the door for Virginia Tech.
Well, Tech doesn't turn it over, right? And they're getting opportunities at the rim. Their shot selection has been good so far.
Offensive foul called on Kitley. Her first.
This is when Dee Cantler comes out of her area, which is the right call. There's a push off there. The baseline official didn't have it, but the angle was better on this side.
Ladies, how important is it when you're going after a title for each person to know their role? Olivia Cochran told her team, I will do whatever is necessary in my role to win a title. She said, I know my teammates need from me rebounding, executing any way that I can, getting physical with Kitley. We've seen her in the last 2 plays, really challenging her and getting in her space. We've been communicating that in the huddle, and you can see it applied on the floor as well.
Robinson off the mark. Yeah, Jeff Walz says Cochran has really been putting in the work of late. It's showing on the floor. Her sense of urgency kicking in late in the season.
I always thought she was one of the best rim runners in the ACC, Olivia Cochran. Her first 3 steps up the court are bang, 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 and she is a freight train coming down the middle.
She got a huge job today against Kitley. Amor got it. Double digits for Georgia, and the lead now into double digits. On the shot clock. Tough shot, Van Lith. Fade away. No. Weak side, Harris. That won't go. Third chance and a foul. Nope, now they're going to switch it to a held ball.
Georgia Amor. She has been fantastic. Fakes the dribble handoff. Little step back to create separation, and another bucket for the point.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business. Virginia Tech, 10 points apiece from Elizabeth Kitley, Georgia Amor. And on the defensive end, Louisville scoreless for the last 3 minutes. They have hit just 2 of their 10 shots so far in this second quarter as Virginia Tech has ballooned the lead. On a quest for their first ACC championship.
Well, the Hokies are not turning it over against pressure. Jeff Walz is going to come with a different look, a little half-court trap here, trying to change the rhythm of his team on the offensive end by changing their defensive rhythm.
Deasia Gregg, that's off the mark. And it ping-pongs back out to Traylor. Kitley's calling for it.
You got to throw it in there.
Yeah. The spin and the deflection. Nope. Robinson on the run.
That's why you don't turn it over against Louisville. For this reason right here, they're downhill speed converting from defense to offense is tough to guard. You turn it over in the live situation, they are gone. The court almost feels like it's tilted.
Fouls on Kayla King, her first, as Mikasa Robinson, the player that Jeff Wall says is a program player. She is Louisville basketball with the way she comports herself. Hey, be sure to stick around for the All-State halftime report. Kelsey Riggs and the crew from right here in Greensboro. Plus, we'll drop in on the SEC tournament. That's coming up next. The final between Tennessee and South Carolina. Right here on ESPN. The Big Ten championship to follow that one.
Get a chance to watch Caitlin Clark, one of the most exciting players in the country for Iowa. You get a chance to watch Aaliyah Boston, last year's National Player of the Year for South Carolina.
Can the Gamecocks keep it going undefeated, become the 5th program ever to win a championship without a loss? UConn, Tennessee, Texas, and Baylor have all won national titles undefeated. Bucket good from Liz Dixon, the grad student out of Memphis.
Dixon has done a good job defensively, too, on Kitley. Kitley scored early and has been a little bit quiet.
Harris whistled for the reach-in, the freshman, her second. Louisville came out shooting it well, not so much since. Virginia Tech, how about that 70% of late for the Hokies? They're getting the looks they want.
Well, that's a terrible place to catch the ball. Forces a timeout. Amor knows better than that.
We'll take the TO with him. First half here at the ACC Championship. Don't forget, next Sunday night on ESPN, we'll have the exclusive live announcement of the entire field for the NCAA championships, breaking down every team, every matchup, every region. It's the NCAA Selection Special at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. Got a bonus hour of coverage continuing over on ESPNU after that.
Look how much quicker Louisville has sped up the possessions for Virginia Tech with their trapping quarter court defense.
Van Lith. Norika Kono. Hard off the back iron. Amor with her head up.
Liz Dixon holding her own in there on Kitley. Four out around one right now.
Kitley gets a touch. Dixon, solo coverage on her, and Kitley steps away and knocks it down.
It's because you got Amor on the same side of the floor. You can't dig. Harris playing the scout report defense. Very nicely done by Virginia Tech.
5 for 7 for Liz, 12 points. Van Lith still struggling to find her touch. Amor running with Trailer. The blow by, and it doesn't go. And here comes Louisville with the counterpunch. And a blocking foul called.
Watch right here. You can't help because you got Amor, and she's a deadly three-point shooter. You go one-on-one, and that's what Elizabeth Kitley has done all year in the one-on-one. She scores.
Kayla King will check out with her second personal foul. So a pair of Hokie starters with 2 fouls. They're out right now. As Van Lith finds the bottom of the net.
Haley Van Lith has supreme confidence. She's going to keep seeking shots. That's a part of her role for Louisville.
Second leading scorer in the ACC this year. Nobody played more minutes than Van Lith did. Rarely takes a play off. And now a foul going to be called on Liz Dixon. No, it's on Van Lith, and that's her second. And that's the 5th team foul, so here comes free throws. So Van Lith and Cochran now with 2 apiece.
Off the made free throws, Louisville goes full court pressure, so Jeff Wall's continuing to mix it up. Got to keep Georgia Amor off balance. She's too good commanding the offense.
She's already hit a couple of triples to tie the ACC tournament record with 13, set by Asia Durr of Louisville a few years ago. Her next triple will set a new record. She had 6 yesterday and 5 in the quarterfinals. Harris, short corner. And Kono over the back. That's her first. Jeff Walsh will get Cochran back in the game.
Yeah, and getting in the early bonus against Virginia Tech, not a good thing for Louisville. Virginia Tech is a very good free throw shooting team.
75% on the year for the Hokies. Amor looking for her 14th point of the first half. And as point guards go, there you won't find many playing better than her right now around the country. It's the biggest lead of the day.
Agree with that.
Kristlyn Carr, their three-point shooter, also back on the floor for Louisville. Step back is good.
Well, Carr just does a nice job of dribbling into space, keeping her dribble alive. Sometimes there's over dribbling, and then there's a play like that that you need to generate some space so you can get into the rhythm of your shot.
Kitley and Amor working together again, and Dixon crashed a little too hard as Kitley goes down.
Louisville foul number 22, Liz Dixon.
That's her first, and Kitley now to the line. Their career leader in scoring. #2 all-time in rebounds, #2 all-time in block shots. She, Angel Reese, and Anissa Morrow of LSU and DePaul, respectively, the only players in the country averaging 18 per game with 10 boards per game.
She's been consistent all season and last year as well. She's going to have a decision to make. She has the ability to come back. Yep. Does she want to go to the draft, or does she want to come back?
Carr, couple in a row for Kristlyn.
She's doing a nice job of playing off that elbow action for Louisville.
Shot clock's off. And a turnover. Van Lith, gave up the 3, and a blocking foul before the shot. That's on Taylor Guyman.
I'm surprised she didn't pull the trigger on that one. Good job of Liz Dixon making herself available. Sometimes against pressure, full court pressure, Georgia Amor looks like she doesn't want anything to do with it, right? You know, she sometimes makes a quick decision when maybe an extra dribble or a reverse dribble or a retreat dribble will give her a chance to see or assess before she throws that kind of skip pass. Because I'm really not sure who she was passing to.
Dixon gets 1 of 2. Amor, almost slipped and fell.
See, much better poise that time.
Kitley, Gregg for 3. And Cochran secures the rebound. It's a 10-point advantage for the Hokies as we head to the half, on pace to raise that ACC championship trophy for the first time with 20 minutes to go for Louisville to do something about it as we send it over to Angel.
Coach, through that first half, we saw Louisville throw so many different type of defensive packages at you, full court and half court. How do you think that your team has been able to handle it?
Well, we didn't handle it in certain situations, but for the most part, we got the looks we wanted to get. We just got to be ready for their pressure and not have silly turnovers like we did at the end. But we also can't rely on Georgia to bring the ball to the floor every time. We have to have other people. Taylor Soule was in foul trouble. She'll be able to help us in the second half.
Carr and Van Lith have a combined 18 points. How do you disrupt them in the second half?
Just keep staying around them. You know, they are the focal points of their offense. We know that. We know we're not going to shut them down. We just have to try to make everything difficult for them. So they played well, okay, but we just have to get out there and continue to guard.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Kitley and Amor with 28 points to lead the way for Virginia Tech, 38-28 over Louisville, as we get you over to the studio. Welcome to ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. And welcome back to the Ally ACC Women's Tournament Championship game. Hey, there's three-time ACC champ and All-American Ivory Latta tossing the bowls up to Red Panda at halftime with the nice dish.
That's the most assists Ivory ever had in the ACC tournament.
We've got 20 minutes to go for Louisville to get a second ACC championship, or for Virginia Tech to get their very first. And they've been doing it so far with Georgia Amar and Elizabeth Kitley, as we check out our Worth a Watch, brought to you by Principal.
Look, Beth, Amar has been so solid all season. She has been consistent. It's like plan A and plan B. It's Kitley, that's plan A. She can get established on the baseline, score inside, counter, get buckets, and plan B is Amar. And as the season's gone on, she's become equally as dangerous. She can score, she can manufacture offense, she can manage the game for Kenny Brooks.
Kitley and Amor's 28 points, matching Louisville's total through the first half. And so what do the Cards have to do to try and get back into this one?
I like the change in defensive rhythm to end the half, where they switched up what they were doing in terms of pressure and when the traps were coming. I think they need that kind of relentless effort on the defensive end to get some stops.
Kayla King off the mark. Angel Gray talked with Jeff Walls. Angel?
Yes, he loves the pressure that his team was able to apply in that second quarter specifically. He said, but we have to do it without fouling. Virginia Tech shot 10 free throws. They went 10 for 10 in the second quarter. They have to adjust that now offensively. He said we have to move the ball. They only have 3 assists on 11 made field goals.
Yeah, they're going to need Van Lith to get that touchback. She hit her first 2 shots of the game, only 1 since. Cochran tried to muscle that up and in, won't go. Same starting 5s out there for both sides. There were a few players with 2 fouls, nobody with 3 in that first half of significance.
Casa Robinson, one of the best on-ball defenders.
Boy, Taylor Soule driving, and a foul on Olivia Cochran. That'll be her second.
There's that explosion off the bounce. She turns the corner, and she is just quicker than anyone else on the front line of Louisville.
Grad student from New Hampshire who transferred in from Boston College. She had 24 in the regular season win over Louisville back in early January.
And Kenny Brooks to start the second half, trying to get Kayla King going with a transition 3. Now he runs a set to keep Soule in the middle third of the floor, where she is more dangerous in the middle third scoring than she is on the wings or on the baseline. Plus, she's a better offensive rebound from that spot on the floor as well, when she can read the glass.
Just underway, second half, the first of our 4 championship games coming your way on this championship Sunday. The SEC final, followed by the Big Ten and the Pac-12. And let's see, is South Carolina the only potential 1 seed that could win its championship?
That's right.
The others have been bounced. Kitley with a block on the car drive.
Second block. Now she's protecting the rim on the defensive end.
On the drive, Kitley will clean up the miss.
Well, the detail work of Virginia Tech has been outstanding.
Robinson, and 1 for Mikasa.
You fake that dribble handoff, and your defense just hesitates for a second, and it's a great read by Robinson. She's got to get going offensively.
Yeah.
Did you ever think we would say that?
Wow. She's the 7-8-7 lady so far in this tournament, averaging 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists per game.
Nobody stars in their role more than she does, and at 5'8", pound for pound, she's by far the toughest player in the ACC.
After the make, they can slap that press on. It was a bit bothersome at the end of the first half.
It sped Virginia Tech up. It didn't just turn them over, but Angel's right, they fouled too much.
King to Soul, well executed by the Hokies.
Great offense always beats great defense. I've always believed that when you move the ball.
Van Lith spinning in the lane. That's a no-go. Louisville will keep it. How about that last bucket for Tech?
Louisville's got to look at the post up here, and then Kayla King's going to find some space right here. Now watch what happens. Okay, freeze it right here. There goes the help. Watch Taylor Soule get into position to receive that pass. It's a very well-designed play, and it's a great read by Virginia Tech moving the ball.
Van Lith wants the Cochran screen.
They got to run their stuff and stop breaking it off right now because they got to move the defense. Right now, Virginia Tech is staying locked in on one-on-one.
Cochran with the fade. He's been showing emotion this entire tournament. It's been a real spark for Louisville.
Well, she's been working on her face-up game all season. She wanted to move to the 3, but she's also accepting her role at the 4.
A team that was at the Final Four last year had to replace 3 starters. Opened up the year in the top 10, and now fighting their way back with a big finish as Soule knocks down another mid-range.
Multiple weapons. Carr, big 3.
Her second, and she's into double figures now with 12 to lead the way for Louisville.
Give Soule a cushion.
Amor. The leak out the other way. Georgia able to knock it down. Can she keep it alive? No.
Chrislyn Carr coming down the floor. Little handoff, fills behind that Mikasa Robinson penetration. All she does is just make Amor just hesitate a second. It's all it takes to get into the rhythm of your shot to create that kind of separation. Robinson sets that up. When you dribble at another defender, you make them freeze.
Liz Dixon has checked into the ball game along with Marissa Russell for Louisville. Robinson. Kitley down to help out. Out of bounds. Carr gets around the Dixon screen for 2.
They need somebody to get hot. It's Chrislyn Carr right now.
She's keeping them in it.
Got it back to a 3-possession game.
Now the Louisville folks trying to raise a little ruckus. And Kitley fouled by Dixon off the ball.
So you got to beat Kitley to the spot. You can't let her come and get 2 feet in the paint and post you up calling to the ball. Right now, Kitley's getting numbers and her hands shaping up to the basketball. That's her work off the ball before it comes in.
6 of 8 from the floor, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Here she is with a mismatch. Jones got it. Robinson picked from behind. Soule, coast to coast. Taylor Soule with a 7-point third quarter.
Did she look like she was stepping it off to dunk it? She can.
And just as Louisville makes a run, the Hokies are right there to respond. No Van Lith on the floor right now for Louisville. Dixon. Amor. Change of pace, the burst, no. Knocked out of bounds to Virginia Tech.
So, flying to finish.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business. 9-point lead, Virginia Tech over Louisville in our ACC championship game. Some questions that we have for the selection committee, Debbie.
Well, injuries to key players. Olivia Miles, Notre Dame. Tania Latson, Florida State. Then you got AZ Fudd, who did get a few minutes.
J.C. Sheldon
back, right? Okay, so the G curve or the S curve, geography or a true mathematical S curve, well, I still think geography is a part of the two regional format.
Although the committee will tell you that that is not as significant because the men don't consider it and the women shouldn't consider it.
I disagree. I think they'd still use it.
The humanity of it? Okay.
Yeah,
and then will championships matter? There are going to be a lot of different regular season champions and tournament champions in the Power 5 this year. The committee, a part of the criteria, they can look at how a team does late in the season, and they can certainly in their own minds consider whether or not you're a champion.
Well, there's 14 different variables that the committee can look at. That's criteria for selection and seeding. And they say there's no geography based on equity, but I disagree with that. I think there is geography. I think there's always been geography in our tournament. And then your body of work is really important. And then the observable components, that's the eye test.
Observable components are now the eye test.
Yeah, that's a fancy way of saying, hey, can this team play or not? You can't put all matchup defensive teams in one bracket and all pressure defensive teams in another. And then, you know, if we're going to go with geography, how about star power? Does that matter? Because I think the seeding for players like Caitlin Clark and Maddie Siegrist, they matter. You know, South Carolina is the only one right now that knows they're the #1, and they're the only team that knows where they're going. You can't tell me geography doesn't play a role in that. It has to play a role in how they select the spots.
2 new regional sites this year instead of 4, so there will be 2 brackets in Greenville, South Carolina. That's probably where South Carolina will be one of the #1s.
Right.
And then 2 other brackets will be played out in Seattle. And the way that Virginia Tech has been playing, they have played their way into the discussion to be a #1 seed. With the likes of South Carolina and Indiana, they look like they've locked up the top 2 spots.
Yeah, but the wonderful thing is Virginia Tech wasn't even in the conversation in any of the reveals or any of the conversation coming out of any national platform. We don't have many, but what platforms we do have, I don't remember hearing anything about anyone in the ACC.
Been a while, right, since an ACC team has not been a #1?
Or a 2 since 1996.
Wow. Stanford looks to be in line for another #1, but then what's the last one? Is it Iowa? Is it Virginia Tech? Is it UConn?
Well, UConn's not in the conversation for that. This is the first time ever, though, that they're not in the conversation.
How about a blind resume, Debbie? When we look at net, strength of schedule, and your record against the top 25, look at that team #3 right there.
Yeah, look at these 2 numbers right here. They mean something. Those are the best, right?
They've got 2 of the 3 right there, and 9 wins against the top 25 net. That is the Virginia Tech resume. They and Iowa are the only 2 that are playing in championship games today. The others lost.
It's impressive on paper, but that's where the observable components come in. You know, Beth, you haven't got me on the rules committee yet. Can you ever get me on the D1 women's basketball?
Jeff Walls says he's first, and then you're next. Actually, you're third because the officials would like a say as well on the rules committee. Van Lith continues to sit and watch. Final 3 minutes of this 3rd quarter. Just a couple of fouls, but I think Jeff Walls is letting her cool a little bit to see if she can find her shooting touch back. They're going to need her if they're going to make a push.
You got to put some game pressure on Virginia Tech. Remember, they've never been in this position as you look at Haley Van List shooting in the last 2 games. Virginia Tech hasn't been here. This is new. This is a new level of focus and competitiveness for them. If you can put some game pressure on them, you might see how they respond.
Amor. And now Robinson. Louisville has trailed by double digits. Wow, Soule with the steal. Missed the layup.
Well, Mikasa Robinson got hammered on this end of the floor.
Yeah, this, I believe, should have been a whistle. Let's take another look.
I mean, that's a foul.
Yeah, that's a foul. Robinson appears to be okay, back on her feet, and we'll be back in a moment. Well, Champ Week rolls on today. We got 3 more championship games for you. The SEC final at 3 Eastern coming up next, with Aaliyah Boston leading the way for the undefeated Gamecocks, and then Iowa in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State. Over on ESPN2 at 5 o'clock, out to Vegas for UCLA and Wazoo. Major upsets out there on the West Coast, and a chance for the Bruins or the Cougs to grab the belt. Can Iowa secure a #1 seed? Can Iowa's Ohio State make sure they stay at home first and second round?
Very few offensive rebounds for Louisville. Just 8 for a team that averages 13 a game.
Big opportunity, by the way, as well for Tennessee. They're looking to grab a host spot as a top 4 seed. Probably would get it with an upset today. King out of the corner. Soule finds space and scores.
Very similar execution by Virginia Tech, and Soule making herself available. King with a nice bounce pass.
Soule's got 9. Kristlyn Carr has been the reason Louisville's been able to hang around as she hits again. 18 now for Kristlyn.
Between the slots in the middle third of the floor, she scored all of her points. And they've been tough contested pull-up jump shots.
At this end, Kitley and Amor have combined for 30.
Oh, they're going to trap the ball screen.
Yep. Hokies in disarray, and a turnover. And Mikasa Robinson will return. Angel?
Yes, she was checked on the bench. She took a few seconds with the trainer, blinked her eyes a few times. She said, listen, I'm good. I'm going back in this ball game. She stood up first off the bench. She is coming off the bench at this quarter, but she said, I am going to be available for my team. And you said tough as nails, Debbie. We need something a little bit more extreme to describe her.
Pound for pound, the toughest player in the league.
Van Lith is fouled. Well, Louisville, as a 4 seed, they're trying to become the lowest seed to win the ACC championship in 24 years. It's been a tournament dominated by 1s and 2 seeds the last couple of decades.
Not really surprised, you know, because the league has been so balanced and so good all season. That's why Charlie Cream has more teams in the ACC projected than anyone else.
Cochran scores inside, and I think it's a glimpse of what's to come in the NCAA tournament outside of South Carolina. Just tremendous parity. Cochran with the block on Soule. Both of them up by the rim. Denied.
That was a flat-out foot race, and if that's not an emotional play to turn your team's tide, I don't know what is. Dang.
Let's see if that's the spark Louisville needs. Final seconds of the quarter. Robinson, Cochran, no. 51-44, 10 minutes to a title.
Needs no words. Bam, off the glass. Ignites the Louisville.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Ally. Whatever you're saving for, we're all better off with an Ally.
3 assists on 7 baskets in the third quarter for Louisville.
March is here and ESPN Tournament Challenge is back. Scan the QR code, download the app, and play the #1 bracket game. Create a group, invite your friends, and get ready for the March Madness.
Oh, it's madness, all right.
Underway today. First of our 4 championship games coming your way. We are 10 minutes away from crowning an ACC champion. It would be a second for Louisville. It would be the first ever for the Hokies and their first championship of any kind since the last century when they were in the Atlantic 10. Taylor Soule, 9 points in that third quarter. And that's because Amor and Kitley were quiet. 18 points for Chrislyn Carr. She has been carrying the load for Louisville. The Cardinals have trailed by as many as 13 today. Step back, trailer, got it.
Bam, wow, big bucket. That step back is real. It's the new thing, right? Because it used to be the stretch 4 and players that could play with size away from the basket. Now it's everyone's step back off the Steph Curry influence in the game.
He's changed the game. Carr. Hokies secure it.
They like to keep Robinson on this matchup if they can. There it is again. Use that bounce to create separation. Back to back for the Hokies.
And it's back up to a double-digit lead.
They're going a little clear out here.
Carr. Nope. Missed 2 in a row. They are looking to her right now with the hot hand. Haley Van Lith played just 6 minutes in that third quarter. And I don't believe she's got a basket since the first quarter.
Yeah, she was a decoy in that set.
Soule! Double digits now for Taylor. Timeout Louisville.
You got to have that ball on a string. Watch this. Pull it back, Taylor. April trailer, and then Amor, step back and stick it. A 14-point Virginia Tech lead behind the play of their point guard, Georgia Amor. From 3, off the bounce, creates separation with the dribble, runs their offense, manages their team, distributes the basketball, and has handled the multiple defensive looks by Louisville on the top of the floor today.
She's tied the ACC tournament 3-point record, 1 more to break it. And you talk about a statement, a 7-0 run to start this fourth quarter for Tech. Cochran spins, offensive foul. And Jeff Walls is really giving the officials an earful.
Okay, Cochran's going to make a counter spin move right here on Soule. Shows the ball, spins, and her elbow might be the reason.
Yeah, connects with Soule. Louisville trying to pick up the pressure.
This worked at the end of the first half. They were able to speed up. And that's what they need to do. They need to use their athleticism to speed up the game right now so they can get enough possessions.
They're forcing them to work the shot clock on an offensive foul on Soule, setting the screen.
That's the kind of play Louisville needs to get possession of the ball. Now they got to convert. They can't have many empty possessions at this point in the game. That's an illegal screen.
Just 36% shooting in the second half for Louisville. They don't have a bucket yet in the fourth.
Going their chin action.
Robinson, good.
From 15 or in, Jeff Walsh can run some sets for Robinson. That's good explosion off the basket cut. And then the exit cut to be able to get into rhythm.
Kitley, a good pressure release. And now they'll get into their half-court set. Trailer into Kitley. Double comes. Robinson with the strip. Held ball to Louisville.
Good defensive effort by Mikasa Robinson. It's not like she saves it for the fourth quarter, but it always seems like she makes fourth quarter plays.
All right, so they got one stop and a score. Can they get another one right here? They got the stop.
It's back-to-back stops right here. Run the same action. Get the same set from Mikasa. Up screen.
They continue to put Van Lith in the corner and just play 4-on-4.
A little decoy.
Yeah. Cochran.
Well, she's got one of their better defenders on her, and Kayla King. It takes her out of help.
5 on the shot clock. Robinson. Amor lost it. Turns it over.
How about Amor moving her feet right there? I don't think Kenny Brooks wants his team to take time. I think he wants them to stay aggressive and keep attacking.
Under 6 to go. Amor, step back, 3. Offensive rebound, King.
Can your details be sharp enough right here to finish off the game?
Amor, the pick. The roll, Kitley, no. Robinson, Van Lith. Boy, could she use a bucket. Not that time. Angel Gray.
Debbie, you said 2 words that Kenny Brooks was relaying to his team. Finish and be ready for the attack. Taylor Soule told her team, listen, they are coming for us. We have to be prepared for the amount of pressure we're going to see on the perimeter. So far, they've been able to handle it, but that was the #1 word. Finish this game and together.
Yeah, you don't want to let up right here.
Oh, beautiful feed, Trailer to Soule. The find and the finish.
They're starting to sniff it here in the arena.
Carr fouled on the follow-through.
This is just a beautiful piece of execution. Split the D, bring the help that steps up, slide into the bucket, and finish.
Hokie started out the season 3-3 in the ACC and then finished 11-1. And were the hottest team in the league down the stretch. They've carried it over into the postseason in their first ACC championship game. And they have led pretty much throughout, trying to hold off Louisville. Championship week rolls on. Tennessee, Carolina coming up next, followed by Ohio State, Iowa. Also at 5 Eastern on ESPN2, the Pac-12 championship game, UCLA and Washington State. All on the road to the Final Four, which of course we have coverage from start to finish on the ESPN networks. Headed to Dallas this year.
Multiple ball handlers, not just Amor. What you're doing is you're having Trailer handle it because you get Mikasa Robinson off the ball. You don't want Robinson hounding Amor. She's too good defensively.
Cross-court pass. Carr, trail 3. Short. Yeah, that's going to be a push on Robinson. No doubt about that one.
Yeah, this is a two-handed shove. Hustle for the rebound and then...
Well, is there a point here, Debbie, now where Louisville has to stop using Van Lith as the decoy and start getting her more touches? I count 1 shot so far here in the 4th and not many in the 3rd for Haley. Here comes their pressure. trap. Held ball before the timeout. This one will stay with Tech.
Well, Greg dribbled right into that trap. And it's still Virginia Tech's basketball. So Louisville needs to keep trying to turn them over. I mean, they keep trying to speed the game up. This is a good defensive team on the floor for Jeff Walls. And then the Hokies just need to keep the floor spaced and move the ball. Stay in attack mode.
16 for Amor and Kitley, 13 for Taylor Soule, all in the second half as Greg heads back towards the locker room. And that's the third foul on Mikasa Robinson.
Still one more foul for Louisville till the bonus.
Under 4 to play.
Here comes a trap in the corner. You don't dribble the ball to the corner. Kenny Brooks calls timeout because it's right in front of his bench.
Boy, they keep doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think he's asked others to handle and not let Amor have all the pressure on her. And Louisville's bringing the heat. They're heating it up.
Couple of timeouts for each side. Possession arrow is with Louisville. 3:45 to go. As we check out Charlie Cream's latest bracketology for the ACC, looks like Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Duke will host possibly North Carolina. And then Louisville trying to play their way onto the 4-seed line so they could stay at home. Syracuse right now is on the bubble, trying to be the 9th team in, which would tie the record.
It looks like Miami's showing here moved them up a spot as well.
Amor, air ball.
This has been a connected group all year, pretty much the core of last year. Through the portal, adding Taylor Soule has made a big difference for Kenny Brooks. Very selective, as most coaches are, about who they bring in. You want to bring players who can help you win immediately. And players want to go places where you can win immediately.
Well, it gives a lot of credit to Elizabeth Kitley, of course, the woman in the middle, that generational player that, okay, you want to come in and play with her. Now all of a sudden you're winning more. They're hoping for a deep run in the tournament. More recruits will notice what they're doing. And it all just builds upon itself in Blacksburg, Angel.
Kenny Brooks said as soon as Elizabeth Kitley touched her foot on the campus, she changed the culture. She changed the program. She said, once again, with this group, it is cool to say you're from Virginia Tech. That helps in recruiting. That helps in so many different ways. And it's because of this core group.
Amor, there's the record. More three-point shots in an ACC tournament than anybody in the 46-year history. Van Lith, and one.
Beth, how about last year? Mike Young and the Virginia Tech Hokies beat Duke in the ACC tournament finals in New York. They celebrate the first championship in that program's history, and now Kenny Brooks' turn. How many people on Tobacco Road thought the Hokies were going to win back?
Tobacco Road,
right?
Well, you know who had the biggest smile of all on his face? The football legendary coach Frank Beamer, who is happy in the last couple of seasons to be called a basketball school if the women can finish this off. And they're headed in that direction. Held ball will stay with Louisville. 2:45 to go for the Cards to try and scramble.
Frank Beamer, the former Virginia Tech football coach, has been going to hoop games for a long time. We had a nice chat with him yesterday when we were leaving the arena. He's a huge fan of what Kenny Brooks and this team has done.
1999, when Bonnie Hendrickson was the head coach, they got 28 wins. And they won the Atlantic 10 championship against UMass in overtime. Russell for a three. Here comes the press.
They can get 3 stops, 3 steals, right? Here comes another. Oh, she turned it over. See, over dribbling and catching it too close to the baseline. And Louisville is pushing you towards the baseline. You got to get some space, and throwing over the top will be available.
Well, now if you're Virginia Tech, you can't start thinking about cutting down those necks just yet.
It's a 3-possession game. Louisville's got to score on this out-of-bounds play.
Trouble getting it in. Morgan Jones.
Got to come back to the ball.
Van Lith. 3. Short. Rebound Tech.
Keep the pressure on. They're going to get 10 seconds in the backcourt. Oh, there's 22 on the shot clock. And Jeff Walls is like, look at the clock. Why foul? Come on. There were 2 seconds to get the ball across midcourt. Kenny Brooks is having to use all his timeouts versus the Louisville pressure.
And he's getting Kitley back in, I think, so you got a big in the middle of the floor to pass it to. A reminder to fans that following the game, post-game coverage of the trophy presentation will be right here on ESPN, time permitting. But if not, you can catch it all on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Kelsey Riggs and the Nothing But Net crew will have the coverage for you. Following our game, the SEC final, and then the Big Ten and Pac-12 championships later tonight. There you see the specifics. A couple of timeouts for Louisville, 1 for Virginia Tech. Louisville still with a foul to give, and the Hokies have the arrow.
Well, you know, the run and jump, the pressure, the traps, the steals, the tips, deflections, all that's got to happen right here for Louisville. They got to get a couple of possessions. They got to tell the officials, we're going hard for a steal and a trap. We're not trying to foul right now.
The inbound will be all the way down the court, 94 feet away. They'll actually use Kitley all the way up the floor. The heave towards half court. Kitley comes to catch.
They got it over.
Yep. They got it over in 2 seconds.
Good play design by Kenny Brooks.
The trap on Amor, and there's the foul on Carr on the sideline. So that's the last foul to give.
They thought Amor hooked him.
Just over 2 minutes to go as Virginia Tech tries to close out their first ACC championship. Amor. No. Kitley trying to tip it around. Gets it. Blocked and a foul.
Look at Kitley tap it to herself. Power through. Uses that bounce to get on balance. And there's Raven, her sister, who is a person living with autism who absolutely adores her younger sister, Elizabeth Kitley. Her inspiration, Elizabeth's inspiration, is Raven.
Debbie, I hope it's approved because Raven said if Elizabeth gets this title, she wants to rush the floor. I think she deserves part of this confetti as well.
I hope so.
Van Lith. Oh, they keep forcing her to take tough shots. And then a foul. And Jeff Walls reminding his players, you can see the frustration. Hey, we don't need to foul, we need to trap first.
Right.
But instead, it's a pair of free throws. I think it's going to be Kayla King. Yep.
You know, when you look at the job that Jeff Walls has done this year, it's been pretty remarkable considering where they were. you know, Angel was reporting on earlier, losing in November in the Bahamas, falling out of the top 10 and working their way back. It's been a struggle against a league that is one of the best it's ever been in the ACC. One of the most competitive races it's been.
Notre Dame, the regular season champs, they won it on the final day. Miel Ivey, the coach of the year this year in the league. And the Hokies are trying to wrap up the postseason championship. Huge contingent has made their way down from Blacksburg today to watch them give it a go in the final. Carr on the drive, got it. Here comes the pressure. Amor able to get it across. And a foul.
You got to have guards that can close out a game. And Georgia Amor hasn't always been that. She's been prone to pressure. She's been prone to having to manage a game at the end and not handle it well. But she has this year. She has grown in that capacity. That's why she's been, since February, I think, the top point guard in the ACC.
Junior from Australia. With the two transfers, Taylor Soule and Kayana Traylor, and the two North Carolina natives, Kitley and King. Together for the last 8 years in high school and college.
Amor's not on any list. You're not going to find her in any college list for superlatives, but she's delivered all year.
We watched the last few years. Alyssa Cunane at North Carolina State, a local kid, win an ACC championship. And now is it time for the former Vikings turned Hokies to celebrate close to home.
At the end of the day here for Virginia Tech, 5 1,000-point scorers on the floor for Kenny Brooks. Louisville has 5 as well. You never see a game where there's 10. I've never seen that before. But the balance of their team was on display. Kitley and Amor a little quiet in the second half. Soule and King and Traylor making plays.
That's going to be a backcourt violation. 11-point game. Really, Kenny Brooks, that clock cannot move fast enough right now. A minute to go.
They got to score quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, they got to get their quick hitter in here. They don't need a 3, but they need to score.
Cochran for 3. That's good. Louisville get a timeout? Yes, they did.
He wants timeout to get some D on the floor.
3 possessions.
They run the horns, they run the flare, and Cochran just steps out because Kitley's in drop coverage.
So they'll try and get the quick trap and the steal. One of the problems when you play Virginia Tech, everybody on the roster is 70% or better.
Right.
There's no weak link.
That's why you can close out a game.
At the line.
But the ball's got to be in Amor's hands now.
They are 19 of 21 at the free throw line tonight.
This is the kind of game pressure that I was talking about that you can put on Virginia Tech and see how they respond. She's getting away with a Michael Jordan move over there.
Whoa.
Little push off.
And that is 5 on Mikasa Robinson, and she'll get a big hand from the Louisville fans. Heck of a tournament for Mikasa.
She'll forever be a Louisville fan favorite. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Amor, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Likely headed to most valuable player honors, I would have to believe.
She's got
at
my
this
vote.
point. Yeah. She's been able to run the show. Carr, she'll knock down another 3. And Amor again. So here we go, talking about who's getting that last 1 seed that may have been vacated by Utah's early loss in the Pac-12 tournament. They'll still be in the conversation. Iowa could be strong with a win in the Big Ten championship today. But Virginia Tech certainly making a very strong case with both the numbers, Debbie, and the observable components. Yes, the eye test. Cochran fighting to the end. Russell bangs in a 3.
Okay, it's a 2-possession game.
Louisville.
Oh, they're gonna have trouble getting it across midcourt.
Oh, they find Kitley.
That's a big play.
That's huge. And now Louisville has to foul. 15.1 to go.
Kenny Brooks wants to take the ball and go home right now.
18 points, 5 rebounds for Kitley. 6 of 7 at the stripe. Walls will call a timeout to advance the ball to midcourt. And Hokies are on their feet. The VTs are up. Big expectations with such a veteran team. They were in the top 10 earlier this year, reached all the way up to number 6, their highest rank ever, and then stumbled out of the gate in the ACC before getting their act together for a strong finish in what will be their 11th win in a row, and she's a huge reason why. This year's tournament MVP, Georgia Amor.
The core of this group has been strong for a couple of years. And she has delivered on the biggest stage. You want to know about big game experience? You can check that box off right now, because they proved here in this event that they can. 14 triples in 3 days. Georgia Amor has been the most dangerous guard in this event. She's a threat on so many levels to impact winning.
Well, and I think she sets the tone, Debbie. The only question really remaining, how would they be in big game situations? This is new to them. She set the tone right away, and they have embraced the spotlight here this afternoon and made it their own.
Well, let's see if this Hokie Nation shows up first and second round, because Castle is a very daunting, tough place to play.
And they might be
if you
wearing
don't
that
know
1
it,
seed.
if you don't know it, because you haven't been there, then you're getting ready to experience. That core up there is tough. That band is loud.
Kenny Brooks told Angel Gray pregame, we hunt in packs. They're getting ready to party in packs as well. In and out. Cochran, no. Final seconds. The kick out to Van Lith. And Blacksburg, Virginia is hoop heaven. History for the Hokies with a first ACC championship. They're leaving. 75-67. Up next, the SEC Women's Basketball Championship. For Debbie Antonelli, Angel Gray, our entire crew, I'm Beth Mullins. Thanks for being with us. Virginia Tech, ACC champs. Now